Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
You probably have a lot of multi-sport athletes, and I'm balancing that or having to balance that even a little bit more. It's funny being at a, say, public school, in Central Texas, we have quite a few that cross over. At my last school, it was less and less. It seemed to be more just athletes focusing on one thing. And so now being at where you are, how do you balance those two sport athletes?
So I'm a big component in two sport athletes. I think a lot of people don't really like them. So I have a twin brother who's a DB coach at Arizona State. He's been at Arizona State. He was at TCU when they went to the Natty. He was at Texas and USC and U of H. So I love football. I don't probably think, and we're in Texas, like, I love football. Like, so, and I've been on interviews, and I always wonder if do they believe me when I say that, but it's like, I go to all the football games, like right now in DISD, cause I kind of got my start teaching. I run stadium board. So, right now at Sprague Stadium, I run the video board, at Sprague. So I literally was at a football game last night. Like, I'm at football games all the time.
Oh,
I
wow.
went to Baylor. I meant to mess with you about that. Went down to Baylor with Arizona State, won on that game-winning field goal last week. I'm going to Arizona State in a couple weeks. Hopefully, I'm trying to work on some OU tickets right now. But I love football. I think football or multiple sport athletes, I think high school is the only time that you can really, really play other sports. When you get to college, it's a business. You get guys all the time that sign multiple sport athletes in college that are real, or it's like football and track guys, like maybe football and baseball, but football and basketball, man, they might do it for a year if you redshirting football, but it's picking up weight, losing weight, off season, you try and get on the field or you try and get on the court, you got to make a decision. So, but high school is the only time that you can do that. And so, Coach Bruner at our AC and head football coach in Molina, he's really big on multi-sport athletes. I have some basketball guys that play football, and he allows them to even come out in fall league, which I have never had a coach do. Yes.
Man, that's special.
Yes, it is. It is. Very grateful for it. So I've never had a coach that does that, and he allows, some of the football guys to come out there and play in fall league basketball. I try not to push them too much because I don't really want to mess up guys' season.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up in that whole football, basketball beef that, happens at other schools because, I'm not going to tell a kid what he can't do. If you want to go play football, by all means, play football. Now, granted, I'm preparing my basketball team, because I have to get another guy to step up, and, I got to go with it, but I think, especially for a high school kid, two things: competing year round helps them with grades, because you have to stay eligible. So sometimes it's hard. It's hard, it's hard to get some of them kids to basketball season. They got to get a report card in, and you might check grades this week, and next week you might be like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard. So you at least, if you're there playing football, like, I'm at least going to get some eligible kids. Like, my sub varsity teams are all on the football field, which is great for me, because when the season's over and they come in, I know I have eligible guys off top. Also, I think it's something about competing, learning to compete year round. And then you never know what your meal ticket is. It's been countless of stories of guys who were hoopers get football scholarships, guys that were hoopers that get cross country or track scholarships, football guys that get track scholarships because, they're told to go out there and play track. So it's always like, don't put all your eggs in a bucket, especially in basketball. I think on the next level, and when I say next level, it ain't just D1. It's NAIA, JUCO, D2. Like, it is dudes on the next level. Everybody isn't gifted athletically or physically to go play basketball at the next level. Some basketball, I always say, sometimes guys get stuck at weird heights. Sometimes a 6'5" guy who's a center, who's a great high school center, you can't go play on the next level as a 6'5" center unless you're, athletically blessed. It's some really good point guards that are 5'8". It's some real good shooting guards that are only 6 foot. And, you look at the NBA now, like it's almost like every point guard 6'5", 6'6". And so I don't, granted, we love our straight basketball kids. We're not gonna act like we don't, but I'm not upset if they want to go play something else. Sometimes I know I've had to do this in the past and tell some kids you might need to look at going to play football. Like, what do you
Hmm.
trying to do? You really want to go to college, you want to get paid for it, and you want to be a collegiate athlete? Like, sometimes you have to have those hard conversations and be like, it's just not going to work out in basketball. Like, I'm not saying you can't go anywhere, but no one's looking at you for your size and skill set. Is really going to be no place. And now that the transfer portal is here, it's like, I hate to say it, but it's true. Why get a high school kid? Like, these coaches' jobs are on the line. So
Even harder now. Yeah.
so why would
Yeah.
I go get a high school kid and I have a kid who is a former 4-star top 50 player, didn't pan out at his first 2 schools or 3 schools. Now he's looking for somewhere to go, and now he's thinking about going D2. Now he's thinking about coming to this NAIA school who would have never got this kid 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, just having a son go through that whole process, graduated last spring from Faith, and he's playing at Trinity. You're right, D3, it doesn't matter the level. There's good players there, and now because of the portal, they have even access to more, like you just said. And so, and I love the way that you framed that as even more of a reason now more than ever for kids to do more and play more, because the idea that this is your ticket and just focus solely on it, maybe, but it's harder. It's harder now than it was before or has been before. And then I thought your point about the grades, I didn't think about that. If they, you and I both know in the fall and in the spring, we emphasize grades way less than we do come November, December, and in those and so what if there's another sport with coaches doing that work for us and then instilling those good habits there, having more urgency there? Great point. Maybe we'll have more that roll around. And I do agree with the competition piece.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I mean, I tend to try to look at, glass half full than half empty. And so, again, control what you can control. I don't think we understand. We're in Texas. You're
Yeah.
not going to go far as a high school basketball coach if you are telling kids not to play football. Now,
Good point.
you
Just
might
just
not,
just for that alone. Yeah.
yeah, you might not want them to play football. You might not like them to play football, but for kids to be able to repeat that, coach said, if I go play football, who does the hiring in Texas? The athletic directors. Who are the athletic directors? More than likely, the head football coach.
And if we are saying no, and this I had to get around to this because I think early on, probably my first 5 to 10 years, I was pretty territorial and just thought if you're playing multiple sports, then you're not that serious about basketball. And that was more just because of my personal experiences. We probably got to be careful about injecting the way that our path went, me and making that seem like, well, that's what you should do also,
Right.
just because I did that. I think that's a bad way to look at it. But yeah, it can't be territorial. And if we are telling people that you should do this or that over there, and check your why. Like, what's your reasoning in that? Most likely, it's a completely selfish reason. You're only in it because you think that, yeah, well, I look at the teams that win state and they have all straight basketball players. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not, depending on what level you're at. But what's best for that player? And then just support them through the journey. Because, like you said before, they only get one chance at this.
Yeah. I think, kind of piggyback off that, you got to be real with your kid too. Again, got to kind of go back to Kimball. Like, it's a little different when I got a top 50 kid in the country and he has 10 to 15 Division I offers. And he's like, Coach, I'm gonna go play football. And I'm like, do why? Why are you doing
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Well,
That's a business decision then at that point. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not that's a money decision now. That's not a love of the game or, go have some fun. Hold on.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, because it's like, I always try to give the kid, like you said, you don't wanna project your thoughts and opinions.
Yep.
So let me give a kid a chance to talk, to advocate for himself, like, "Why? Wow, what's" and I'll tell him, "I'm not upset about you if that's what you wanna do, but why?" And, they gave me their reason, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's good reason for you. I think, you might need to try to find some other you need to really think about this, because you're not the average kid. Like, now my kid that doesn't have any type of scholarship offers and he wants to go play football and he's like 4'6'5". I get it. It's already there. As soon as he mentions it, I'm like, he's
Makes
he's
sense.
trying to he's trying
Yeah.
to get college paid for. He wants to go play at the next level. At this point, no one's came to him in basketball, so he's literally like, I'll take anything right now. If I gotta go play wide receiver, tight end, DN, if that gives me opportunity to go play in college, that's what I want to do. Cool. But some of these kids, that, like you said, it's money. So too is like, if I'm a junior, sophomore, or senior, I'm top ESPN, 4 stars. I got the accolades. Like, dude, you about to get $150,000, $300,000. Like, chill out. You go out there
Yeah.
and you blow a knee, and it works on the other side too. Even with the football coaches, I understand you want that athlete, but sometimes you might have to say, like, I ain't gonna let you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think football coaches also lean on us to make sure that we aren't, I try to say, hoarding kids, because you get those kids that want to run from football off season. And so you get kids that come out there that really aren't basketball players and you really can't use. And I think that's a part of you and your football coach being able to trust each other and say, hey, coach, look, this kid came in the gym, coach. I can't use him. I know he probably trying to run from football all season. And I know you gonna need him. Like, I'm like, coach, look, I'm not stopping you. If you want to get them back, that's cool. And then you kind of be real to 'em on kids that you think can help your program. And so, I know we all want to get numbers and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think it's about being real for the kid. And sometimes you have to push the kid. So if that means you have to push the kid to stick to your sport or push the kid to go to another sport, it's all about that reasoning why to justify it.
And I like the fact that you're asking them that question and trying to find out what the why is. The response I don't like is, well, LeBron did it. Okay. All right. Well, if we're going to compare ourselves to the outlier of an outlier, Allen Iverson played. Okay. Like they are freaks of nature
Anyway,
that I
graceful
don't care
toughness.
what sport they're doing. Like they'll probably be great at it pretty quick. So we can't compare to that. But I don't know about you. I've never had it work out well when I'm really trying to convince them to either do something or not do something, or if there's manipulation involved, it typically doesn't end well.
Well,
There's resentment. And then sometimes too, it's kind of like what we want with our parents. We want our parents to allow their sons to fail at times. We know it's a bad decision. We don't agree with it. Maybe they have to learn that on their own, and it might be the hard way. And then, but I think and this is just the growth in me is if they make a decision. I went to a couple years ago. Southwest had a sale on plane tickets where anywhere you want to go, half off. It was insane. So my wife and I love to go to Hawaii. We were able to stay there really cheap at that. It was like in September if we got these tickets for super cheap. So made the mistake of leaving for coach 1 week. I went to Hawaii. I came back. My top two players had moved to football. Like they had made the decision and the football coaches mid-season let these two guys come in, which that kind of bugged me because I'm like, oh, like you're already playing games. What does that look like for these other guys that have been there through the
first next
summer
day.
and everything? But they're good athletes and they had played before. But it was kind of one of those where, man, that really burned. Like I didn't want to lose those guys. But then at the same time, I thought, okay, what's going to allow them to come back to basketball in good spirits and excited about playing for me again is if I don't one, hold it against them, act like I'm just pissed off every time I see them. And then I had to swallow a little bit of pride. And then once they started playing, hey, how'd your game go? How'd you play?
Right.
That was necessary because ultimately I want them to be happy. I want them to be healthy, and I want them to come back eager to play basketball. And the funny thing is, if both of them were honest, they were honest about probably not the best decision, but at least I didn't have a hand in it either way.
Right, right.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.